Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the March 9th Town Board meeting. Please join me as we pledge allegiance to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, may I please have a motion to go ahead and accept the minutes from the February 23rd Town Board meeting?
I make a motion?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so tonight we have on our first item on the agenda is a workshop with our police chief and our lieutenant, Eric Lilly and Rob Benson. Can you guys come on up to the table and just give us a little update? How are you guys?
How are you?
Good. Spring's here, right?
So I've heard.
I know, we're all skeptical, right?
You don't have an audience, so this is a little weird.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. There's a lot of people at home watching, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you for coming in. We just kind of developed a plan this year that what we would do is ask each department head to come on in and give a update a couple times a year, just so the public knows what's going on and what you guys are working on, as well as the town board. So thank you for coming in tonight.
Thank you. Just to give you an overview, 2014 saw the department handle a little over 12,768 calls for service, had 415 arrests, and 1,013 of those calls for service, resulted in some kind of a report, whether it was a criminal mischief or a burglary or that kind of thing, something that rose to the level wherein an officer had to take a police report. So it was a busy year. In fact, the number of calls was right about steady with 2013, but the number of arrests was actually up substantially, 415 over 334 for the year before. So the town of Hyde Park is very active, has a very active police department. Just to give you an overview of what's going on, and I put the two things that are first and foremost priority-wise on my list. Number one is officer injuries. The department continues to be plagued with some degree of one officer or another of long-term injuries. We had somebody just come off of a long-term injury. At the very same time, we had a police sergeant involved in an automobile accident with a leg and a hand injury, so he's out. This has happened pretty consistently, actually, since I was brought on board by the town board in 2012. We try to do our best, but the police work in and of itself is just an inherently dangerous job, unfortunately. And one of the things that this leads to specifically is an increase in our overtime. We are staffed on a 1-to-1 ratio, basically. So it means that when somebody's out, although we can backfill a lot with part-timers, we can't backfill entirely. And in fact, with the sergeant being out, we had to ask a patrol officer to take on supervisory responsibilities. So that's an added expense, certainly. Number two is vehicles. We've discussed before the situation with vehicles. I think that with this board, we've started to move forward with at least a one-a-year replacement plan. As we were talking about out in the lobby, we actually had some good fortune resulting from what was a bad incident, in that we had a police car that was totaled in a wreck, rear-ended and totaled. However, that police car had full replacement value. So instead of getting just the amount of money that car was worth, Kelley Blue Book or NADA, we got what it would cost to replace that car. With that information, we decided, instead of trying to buy another brand new car, we would try to replace with some used vehicles some of the cars that had some real high mileage in the fleet, and that's what we're in the process of doing. In fact, one of them's on the agenda for tonight. I think I viewed purchasing used vehicles for the police department with some degree of trepidation. Anybody who was here at the time we first did it will remember that. However, we've had relatively good luck with it so far. We've been able to take some of these cars. In fact, one of the cars that's out of service right now is the unmarked detective car. And that's out of service because it just can't be put back into service. It's got rust through the floor, it's got all kinds of brake issues, it's got all kinds of engine issues. We really get our money's worth with our vehicles here, absolutely positively. So in that particular respect, we're being as prudent, as fiscally prudent as we possibly can, because we run them till the wheels fall off and nobody else could probably run them at that point. Although I don't want to say that too quick, because then I'm going to bring up the fact that we've entered into an agreement, or we're going to enter into an agreement with an auction company that's going to try to get rid of our surplus stuff.
Those are still good cars,
In fact,
except for those that we're getting rid
that's
of.
what I meant to say. I misspoke just a minute ago. One of the things we're looking at, have last year and will again this year, is training. With the injury that's, the long-term injury that we have right now, that officer, that sergeant, is our firearms instructor, our single firearms instructor. It points out within the department that there's a lot of specialization, but it comes down to one individual person, and if something happens to that person, whether it be pending retirement, which I don't see, but certainly these injuries, it really pointed out that we've got some gaps that we have to fill. So one of the things we're looking at is firearms training. We've talked about the Narcan training. I'm sure you've all read about that. I actually took it upon myself to go and get certified as a trainer, an instructor for that, and we're going to do that all in-house. We have the forensic interviewing class coming up, social networking class that a couple of the officers just attended, and domestic violence. And domestic violence is certainly a priority with us now with the DART Advocate, and I'll talk a little bit about that program and the success up to now. So again, we're looking for training. We're looking for basically free training. That's what we can afford. So the membership of the department has been extraordinarily flexible as far as changing days off, things like that. So things have worked out very, very well. I think there's a very good relationship. The membership is interested in training, and as far as it goes, I'm very interested in them getting as much as is possible. The DART Advocate program, as you know, that program is in place. Melissa is at the station at least one full day a week, and then another couple other half days a week, but Thursday's usually her day when she spends the entire day there. It's pointed out some shortcomings maybe in our reporting practices, things that we're working on. Lieutenant Benson, feel free to jump in. He's our liaison with all of the domestic violence advocate workers. But I think it's brought to the forefront a real issue in the town of Hyde Park, and having this advocate on board with the department, it serves to not only help us, but help those officers as well who are trying to do the right thing by people, and it brings resources to the table that maybe were available in the past, but not readily available, or not so well known.
Just touch on that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just to go along with that a little bit, what's great about this program is that there's many times as us as police officers go into a residence where we know there's domestic violence going on, but they're not to a level where there's an arrest to be made. Generally, police always look at, okay, we need to go in, make an arrest, and leave. Now we're able to say, listen, we know there's things that aren't right. You don't have to talk to us. We have someone that will come to you. You can go to them, and we leave information for Melissa to follow up with. We get a safe contact number for the victim, so she can call them back maybe when the offender may be at work or may not be around. Maybe it's a mom's phone, a sister's phone, somewhere where they can safely call them and make contact with them. So our guys feel so much better now with this program in place because it's broken down a wall that's been there for a long time. You know, many times in the past, we couldn't do anything unless an arrest was made. Now we have someone in-house that all the guys know and all the guys feel comfortable with. So when they say we have someone that you can talk to, you know you do, because the person is in our building and works with us, at least 3 days a week. A lot of her time she spends in court because she follows that victim into court where she may need support and other services. So this program has been great. As the chief said, it's brought up not just in our department, but in reporting practices all around, that there's some discrepancies and there's some ways to make it better. And that's our number one goal, is to be able to serve everyone and give them things that we as police officers can't. A lot of people look at the uniform and say, okay, you're just here to make an arrest. Well, we're not there for that. And we have someone that that they can speak with and work with them. Not just, with counseling, but also find housing for them, help them get different benefits that they may need. It's just unbelievable what's out there that we didn't know and be able to tap into, but she can.
So do you feel that when she moves on, because it is just a year program, that she will leave behind a legacy where you will be aware of the resources you can call on?
We hope so.
Yeah.
That's our hope. Is
I
that
would agree with that. The other thing I would say is, it would be my intention, depending on what grant funding is available, to try to continue that.
Okay.
And if we're able to show the success that I believe we're able to show at the county level, maybe to work out some kind of a deal at the county level as well, if they could be involved in a grant program.
Okay.
Because I believe that this is a program that they're looking to implement in a lot of jurisdictions. Hyde Park happened to be the third in the county. But depending on the success that we show. And just to echo one thing that Lieutenant Benson said, as a police officer, you pretty much always want to try to do the right thing in a domestic violence situation. First, you met resistance from the victim, who was afraid a lot of times to deal with a uniformed police officer. But secondly, the resources that we were able to bring to bear at 2 o'clock on a Saturday morning really were limited.
Yeah.
When all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And unfortunately, we were limited. We could arrest you. We could solve the immediate problem. We could take you out of danger. We have to take somebody to jail in order to do that. And now we have so much more to do, so much more to do, and so much more to offer later on. And I think it really is a great thing. It's funny, we really haven't talked about subsequent years. But the enthusiasm, I don't want to speak for Family Services, but I think the enthusiasm shown by Family Services, they're going to approach us at some point
great.
to look
That's good to
for
know.
continuing that grant funding.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. That came actually from an Impact Tools grant, which they offer in varying amounts every year and have for quite some time. So depending on, they're quite stringent as far as showing success with what you do with it, though. So I'd like to see how we're going to present that. Although I can tell you it's a very successful thing, they're going to want empiric data
Sure.
in order to back that up, I believe.
I assume you're tracking statistics of the number of interactions and.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
yes. And that's all part of quarterly reporting that has to be done to the state once you take any kind of state funding as well. And yeah, I think that'll paint the broader picture. And I think if they're able to do it for another year, a subsequent year, it'll start to even increase. And again, I think that they, again, not to speak for them, but I think that they are looking to do this as a model for the other jurisdictions. They've picked the busiest, and it was first the town in the city, and now it's the town Hyde Park. So.
I'll be reaching out to Family Services, and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think one of the hard things with a program like that is there's a lot of confidentiality issues, so it's kind of hard. Maybe you can show like the number of people you've spoken to or intervened with, because a lot of it, like they can't use taped phone lines at our police station, things of that nature, because of the confidentiality issues of it.
Sure.
So it's really a program that when we drafted a program, the chief really thought outside the box when he put that grant together and said, you know what, let's see if we can get it for this criteria, because you can't really say that, yes, we wrote 37 speeding tickets on this road and we slowed people down, where something of that nature with the counseling aspect of it and the services, it's hard to generate what
Absolutely.
success is, So we're going to have a challenge when we sit down to write that, but I think we're up to that challenge. And
So, like you say, it's more subtle, like it has these far-reaching implications. So if you intervene with a woman who is a victim, then she's probably also assisting the children. So it's kind of hard to document exactly how many people she might actually be affecting with just one interaction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just a couple more things on my points. One was govdeals.com. I had brought that up earlier. In the past, like most municipalities, we waited for a bigger county auction to get rid of any surplus equipment, in our case usually cars. The problem with that was it was once a year, and it happened at their convenience at the auto center. Govdeals.com actually is an internet service that does it for municipalities all over the country. We met with a representative. He showed us a whole bunch of different accounts that he had all kinds of equipment, from snowplows to helicopters we saw, and there, what's that? Fire trucks. There is no upfront cost to the town, and the buyer's premiums are paid, or the premiums, the seller's premiums are paid by the buyer. So really, we're on the hook for absolutely nothing, which I think is great. And Lieutenant Benson has had some individuals who he knows from other jurisdictions who have used it and have been very surprised, because you reach a much broader audience. You just don't reach the audience that's going to go to the Auto Center in August. You get kind of a nationwide audience at how many people are interested and what the prices are. So I don't think we're going to get rich, but I think it's a much better way to dispose of property that we had than we had done in the past.
Just going along with that, once we set that up, we can get rid of any town-owned property. So if you wanted to get rid of old computers, you wanted to get rid of old tables, if you get a chance to check out the website, there's everything under the sun on this website.
What is it again?
govdeals.com. And they gave us a number, because the only way to get a representative to come was you had to register. So I did a temporary registration. We were 7,407. So they have 7,407 accounts. So I got most of my intel from the Village of Wappingers, who started using that. And I spoke with their village comptroller, and he couldn't say enough good things about it. So.
Okay, well, good.
Actually, when we were researching it, there's a lot of Putnam County agencies, some Orange County agencies, but the Fairview Fire District is actually disposing of some surplus equipment. That was an active auction when we were first there.
Well, really do appreciate how hard you work to control the costs in terms of the vehicles and now disposing of them. Appreciate it.
The last thing I have is the SRO contract, and that's just to bring it up to know that we're in a position right now that we're not exactly sure which direction the school district is going to go into, but I think that we have developed a plan for whichever way they decide to go. So
I did provide a letter to Wayne Kurlander, letting him know the options, what it would cost if they stay with the current situation, full-time at the high school, part-time at Haviland, or if they decide to go with the 2 full-time. And so I have not heard back from him. I think he just needed that information for budgetary purposes.
And I'll go back to, and I think Lieutenant Benson can speak much better to it with his experience in the school. Having an officer within those schools is, I can't overstate their value to the police department, their ability to handle things before it gets out of hand, their ability. I go back to, and this is last winter at this point, 2 missing juveniles, and bringing Marty in, who knew those kids, who knew who they hung out with, who knew where their families were, who knew where their families lived in the area. We were able to put that to bed basically within 3 or 4 hours. When they were hunkered down for the night, we weren't going to find them any other way except we know where to look for them. So that, I think, is one very good example, but my experience at this point with SROs has been filled with those kind of experiences, their ability to interact with those kids the way nobody else can, because the familiarity that they gain day after day. And I
not only the interaction with the children, with the parents.
Absolutely.
I know Lieutenant was in the schools when my children went through, and we had the DARE program at that point, and the baseball trips and stuff, and my wife chaperoned some of the trips. So, you have those touches as well, which are equally as important, so.
Absolutely.
Do you do any formal programs within the school? Like, I know DARE isn't a thing anymore, but anything similar to that, education?
What Marty Monaco is doing at the high school is he goes into different classrooms when they do the forensics and things of that nature, and he goes in and helps bring our perspective of different situations, whether it's search and seizure, whether it's crime scenes, whether it's drug-related, driving-related. We also assist with the fire department doing the mock DWI accident, which they get very entailed into, and I go and participate in that every year myself. Officer Mirabella at the middle school developed kind of a program that was more centered around things that we have here. Like when I taught the DARE program, I was certified to teach DARE. DARE is a written curriculum that you're supposed to maintain and stick through to the guidelines of what DARE is. I molded it to what's going on here. Obviously, we deal with a lot of cyberbullying in the schools, so he was teaching the kids and working with the sixth graders on that. Cyberbullying on different, heroin now is a big problem here, dealing with some of these issues. But now that he's part-time, he really only has time to really deal with the core issues that are going on at the school. Because you have to remember, when we get involved and we have to investigate something, we have to have parents involved, we have to have principals involved, administrators involved. We can't question the children without having a parent there. So to try to coordinate these things, you know, Marty comes in on the weekend because sometimes the parents cannot take off during the week. So Marty will come in and meet with them on a Saturday and do a mediation in the morning when he's having problems with kids in the police department. So a lot of these things take a lot of time because we got to remember they're assigned to the high school and the middle school, but they're also going out to all the elementary schools and dealing with issues that we're having there, as well as St. Peter's and Virginia Shaley. So they're stretched kind of thin when you look at the aspect of all of what they're covering. And let's face it, that, you know, there's a lot of issues these children are dealing with that we're able to help them with because we understand where they're coming from, because this is what we do. And like you say, you talk about connections you made. There's times now where people still come to me, kids that I taught DARE to, or kids that I met in a school, and give us information about things that are going on because they feel comfortable coming to you and explaining to you what's going on. I've been to weddings, I've been to baptisms, I mean, college graduations. It's just unbelievable the impact that you have, and I never thought I had until you meet parents who come and say, you know what, every Wednesday, all my kids would talk about was OB came home and he said this, and OB did that, and you know, that's all they talked about. I asked, well, what'd you learn in English? What'd you learn in social studies? They talked about what we were talking about because we were talking about life skills. You know, we were giving them the tools to put in their toolbox to be able to pull that out at a time when they're being bullied or when they're backed into a corner and they don't know what to do, when it's fight or flight mechanism. We're giving those tools to put in the toolbox. Do they all use them? Unfortunately, they don't, but we are giving them tools to use. So obviously, you know my opinion about the SRO program and working in the schools, and I can't say enough good things about it. And Marty Monaco and Tom Mirabella do a phenomenal job with the kids. Tom Mirabella just came back from Washington, D.C. He went down with the 8th graders at Washington, D.C., and went on the tour with them around D.C. for the field trip. I used to go on that trip, and it was a great time, and I couldn't get the parents off the phone thanking me for letting him go. And he went on his own time, he went on his own volition, and he went and he had a great time, and the parents felt so much more comfortable knowing that he was there, and he knows the kids. And, you know, he took his time to go with them. I mean, it was a great time. And you build those bonds with those things like I did on the baseball trips and things that I did. So I think it's very important to be able to continue it, you know, and we all know about the financial situation of every organization. But I think it's important to try to find ways to be able to continue that.
I wonder if the domestic violence prevention program were to continue, if any of that could be brought into, I'm not sure exactly how, but into the school context, because a lot of those patterns can start early.
I know that they do have some programs related to dating and things. I know, I'm not sure if they're currently doing them in our school district. I can find that out though, but I know that they do have some dating tips and things that they go over in the high school with some of the kids. I know they have programs like that, so I can look into that and I'll let you know.
And just one thing I want to echo, I have never been assigned to a school. However, my experience with various school resource officers, they are officers over the course of my career, the officer makes or breaks the program. And I can honestly and truthfully say these two guys are a perfect match for the duties that they're doing within that school district. The personalities that they bring, the dedication that they bring, the empathy that they bring to the table is what's making it as successful as it is.
And just for the record, Officer Monaco was one of my students, so.
There you go.
I got it.
Well, that's good. We feel good about that.
Okay. From the police department, unless you have any questions, I really don't have anything else.
Yeah, I'd like to just publicly thank Lieutenant Benson this month here. He's celebrating his 20th year in Hyde Park, and congratulations. And
Yes.
I know you've seen a lot of growth within the police department from Route 9G, well, I guess starting here in Town Hall, right, into 9G, into the new home that you're in. And I know the personal impact that you had at the Schneider household with the DARE program, and congratulations. And I am thankful that you have stayed to your home roots here and the service that you provide, and I just want to personally say thank you. So congratulations on your 20 years.
Absolutely, we all echo that. Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you.
Thank you.
Defines a hometown, you know? That's great, thank you.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, I want to thank you guys for this morning. You helped Pete Sotero and myself on Yates Avenue, and you couldn't have made it easier for us. Very cooperative. And I think we'll be dealing with that situation in the near future. One thing I had on domestic violence, you said the phone in the police station is not used because it's recorded? Is that?
Some of the lines are not recorded, yes.
Okay.
One of the things that we have to make sure of is any conversations that happen between a victim and the counselor can't be recorded. That's actually a part of the grant funding that not only we got, but Family Services operates under as well. So we just have to be careful that they're not on a tape line.
But information that she obtains can be passed to you?
Oh,
If
absolutely.
she thinks it's a dangerous situation?
Oh, absolutely. And in fact, she's in communication with us, I would say, on a daily basis. Oh, absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate your good work. Take care.
No more snow.
Good night, thanks again.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Well, unless the chief and Rob have some public comment, I think that we'll just be moving on to the resolutions. Want to come to the podium and say that? Okay, then. All righty, so you want to go ahead, Ann, with the first resolution?
Resolution 391 of 2015, resolution accepting bids for 2015 highway materials and services.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
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 Those are just for a few additional items that we didn't have on the first time.
Resolution 39-2 of 2015, a resolution accepting the donation of carpeting from the Culinary Institute of America to be used in the Town Hall and the Recreation Program building.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
And we definitely thank the culinary for thinking of us and giving us some nice donations.
Looks really nice.
It does, yeah, if you
Yeah.
check out the
In the
conference room,
conference.
and it's also being installed at the the program building.
Resolution 39-3 of 2015, resolution authorizing the attendance of Don Westermeyer, Building Inspector, and John DeRusso, Assistant Building Inspector, to the Hudson Valley CEO Educational Conference, April 22nd through April 24th, 2015.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 39-4, 2015, resolution authorizing return of the balance of escrow for McDonald's.
And we have a second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 395 of 2015, resolution proclaiming the month of April 2015 as Parkinson's Awareness Month.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye. Resolution 39-6 of 2015, resolution authorizing renewal of used motor vehicle licenses.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 39-7 of 2015, resolution authorizing the issuance of salvage yard renewals for the time period between January 1st, 2015 and December 31st, 2015.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 39-8 of 2015, resolution renewing mobile home licenses.
And do we have a
Second.
second? And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 399 of 2015, resolution authorizing the use of govdeals.com to auction surplus police vehicles.
And second?
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye. Resolution 39-10 of 2015, resolution authorizing purchase of used motor vehicle to be used as part of the Town of Hyde Park Police Department's fleet of police vehicles.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
I just want to comment on that. I talked to Lieutenant Benson outside, and he got a real good deal on this car. I wish I had picked it up at that price, so you might want to comment that the dealer was really good to town of Hyde Park on that, right?
That's good.
Yeah.
Great.
When
Yeah.
you're looking for a car, I'll help you shop.
I'm looking.
Resolution 39-11 of 2015, resolution approving budget revisions to the town of Hyde Park for the period February 2015, budget revisions number 2015-02.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Just to- oh, sorry,
That's fine.
just to note that we did take 50,000 out of the snow reserve fund
Yes.
to cover the salt.
That's out of the money we're planning to put into the snow reserve fund, right? Or is it out of the actual snow reserve?
Well,
fund?
probably out of the 2015
Yeah,
allocation.
right.
Yep.
Thanks.
Resolution 39-12 of 2015, resolution authorizing the town supervisor to sign a sludge hauling contract with H.I. Stone and Son.
And do we have a second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye. I'm glad someone wants to haul the snow.
You're right. Put a bid
Had
on
a lot of
Put that out
discussions on
twice,
that.
didn't
I'm
we? Last
afraid
one.
to say.
it.
Resolution 3913 of 2015, resolution adopting local law number 1 of 2015 regarding non-conforming signs.
Second?
And Donna, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Svensson.
Aye.
Councilman Ray.
Aye.
Councilwoman Barron's.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye.
And Supervisor Rohr.
Aye.
It's a big one. Let's see, resolution 39-14 of 2015, resolution adopting local law number 2 of 2015 regarding the Crossroads Core Zoning District.
Okay. And Donna, can you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Svensson.
Aye.
Councilman Ray.
Aye.
Councilwoman Barron's.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye.
Supervisor Rohr.
Aye.
Is this the amended one I sent?
Says
Yes.
amended.
Yes, as amended. Says amended.
Warren, I left the
It
original
looks
on.
right.
Oh, was this the original on top?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Want
Let
to
me
just
take
check?
a
Yeah,
quick
take a
I
look,
just want to
Warren.
make sure it's the,
You want to take?
where's the amended resolution?
Right there.
This one?
It's on the top, it's, and then the other one's on the bottom.
There it is. It wasn't on mine.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, we just made an amendment to this to make reference to the fact that we have to, we're also authorizing the adoption of the amended zoning map.
Of the zoning, okay.
Authorizing the
Oh,
clerk
right.
to make arrangements with Dutchess County Planning to revise our map.
Is that on the amended
That's
resolution?
on the amended.
Okay, all righty, good. And so we completed that roll call. Okay.
Motion to add resolution 39-15.
Oh, okay.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 39-15 of 2015, resolution authorizing the town supervisor to accept an insurance proposal for insurance coverage for the town for the policy period April 1st, 2015 through April 1st, 2016.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I do just have a report, a little bit of correspondence I'd like to read, provided to me by the Media Committee. And they do a 6-month report, so I'd like to just bring everybody up to speed on that. So, of course, the Media Committee broadcasts all town board and planning board meetings live and record them for scheduled rebroadcast and/or posting to YouTube. In 2014, they recorded and broadcast the Memorial Day Parade and a Violence Against Women presentation at the high school, as well as all the other school, town planning board and school board meetings that they regularly cover. They continue to be concerned that their staffing remains at 4 people. At this level, the unavailability of a single person could prevent us from covering all the programs we currently do. After January, we had no major equipment problems. The only equipment acquisitions this year were larger battery backup power supplies, which have eliminated the need to have someone physically restart the equipment after power outages. Temperature and noise levels in the broadcast room continue to be a problem. The air conditioning solution was rejected due to cost. However, that's actually not correct. We are still planning on doing that. I spoke with the comptroller the other day. The problem was that there were still some they had some caveats or some concerns if we were to put the air conditioner in, that it would create additional noise. So I think that was something that put it on hold, but we do recognize that we have to go ahead and bite that bullet. It's kind of hard to for us to spend $10,000 on air conditioning the room, but the reality is that's all the servers are in there for the functioning of town hall. So it's not just the media equipment, but it's also the servers. So, in 2015, they are going to approach PCA about noise reduction to the town rack, which is the louder of the two racks. 34 meeting videos were uploaded to YouTube this year, and they received a total of 1,444 views for an average of 42 views per meeting. Town board videos on YouTube include a time-stamped agenda, which acts as an index into the video. Freedom of information requests for copies of meetings since we started posting the meetings online have been virtually eliminated. So their website, from January through June, there was an average of approximately 7,500 unique visitors per month visiting the town site, an average of 14,400 times per month. The number of visits is highest during the first half of the week, tapers off toward the end of the work week, and is lowest over the weekend. The top 5 pages visited in order are homepage, police press releases, town board, and justice court. The most visited web pages varies by season, with rec and music in the parks getting more visits in the summer, and the receiver of taxes page being visited more during tax collection periods. At the end of the year, they undertook a revamping of the website format based on some issues raised by a group called See Through New York. So the new format, we had a long discussion at that at town board meeting a few months back. A number of issues were raised regarding the posting of documents on the website, and we are looking into some of their suggestions. Some of them seemed completely impractical, and just the reality is that what we seek to provide is what the people need and want, and so we couldn't actually address many of the things that this particular group had suggested. But truly, what we need to do is focus on the information that people want. A Twitter account was established for the town of Hyde Park and is used to send out the same information that is sent out by email. Since July, they had 192 tweets. So just to put in perspective the amount of hours that people are putting in, our great media committee, the 4 people that are part of it: town hall, broadcasting and maintenance, 380 hours, school board recording and broadcasting, 120 hours, other recording and broadcasting, 10 hours, and bulletin board updates, 104 hours. There is an additional amount of non-recorded time expended on programming and maintenance through both remote access and brief on-site visits that did not warrant recording. According to the independentsector.org, the equivalent value of the labor for running our media committee, they assign a value of $26.45 per hour. So if we add up all those significant hours, we're looking at about $16,000 that are contribution of our volunteers. It's very impressive. However, if you went to a cable company that had the specialized skills necessary, that would command even a larger hourly salary. So in 2015, the Media Committee intends to focus on the following: resolving the deficiencies identified by See Through New York, resolving the temperature noise problem, replacing the mounted cameras in the meeting room, and increasing membership in the Media Committee. and increase of Twitter followers. So if there's any volunteers out in the public who would be willing to learn some of the skills required to run the cameras for meetings such as tonight, please do contact Steve Hughes. He would be on the website, and we'd love to get some more volunteers. So I'd like to definitely thank the media committee, who's downstairs recording right now, for all their excellent work, and look forward to working with you in 2015 and resolving the air conditioning in the media room in particular. Okay, so any other issues that anyone would like to discuss? Okay. Do you know when the... do you know when the Easter egg hunt is?
Around Easter.
Around, well, it's about the week before Easter,
Yeah.
so whenever that is.
Yeah, I don't have the exact, I'm sorry.
I did see something about it, and
It
Emily,
was April 20th, I think.
Yeah.
so it may
okay,
not
it's
be
late
a
this
while.
year, yeah.
No,
I
no,
think it's, isn't it?
I don't think so. It's
Oh.
earlier. I'm
Never
pretty sure.
mind.
Let's see how
I could be
religious
wrong.
this group is.
Very early.
So, Emily, did you post the notification about who posted the tag sale?
That was me,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
and
on the
so
town
when is that?
website.
And that's
May something, you
Yeah.
have to register by May 5th, I think, and it's a weekend in May.
Yeah, I think
It's
it
on
was
the
May
town website.
17th, but I'm not sure. So,
Okay.
all right.
We're
Ne-
full-footed
Yeah, I'll wait on the announcements
eight-
till next time.
Easter's April 5th, so it's
Okay,
early.
so
Okay, good.
So it's
forget
early.
what I said.
All right, well, we'll make those announcements at our next meeting.
See, you were
Okay, all right, so may I have a motion to
be
close the
important.
meeting?
Motion.
And a second?
second.
And all in favor?
I have no idea what it was.
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
We'll do it in reverse. You ever see those? Seinfeld did it once. They did the show in reverse.